Welcome, traveler. You found your way to a quiet corner of night, where engines hum like a distant tide, and the moon is a pale lantern floating beyond the glass. Before we begin, let your shoulders loosen, your jaw soften, and your hands rest wherever they fall. There is nothing you have to hold right now. The stars are holding you. We will take 3 slow breaths, gentle and unhurried. Inhale, as if you're sipping cool air through a straw, slow and silky. Hold, just for a moment, like a pause between 2 waves. Exhale, longer than the inhale, a warm ribbon of air drifting out. Shh. Again, inhale, hold, exhale. Shh. One more time, softer still. Inhale, hold, exhale, hush. Out here, night does not end. It simply changes shade. The ship's panels glow with a tender blue, and the navigation lights wink in a slow rhythm. Blink, 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 like a heartbeat you can see. A velvet shadow moves across the porthole as the craft turns, and the moon slides into view, closer than a thought, wearing a veil of silver dust. The cabin's air is calm and faintly warm. The metal shell keeps in every little sound, the soft tick of a relay, the low of circulating vents, the distant, steady purr of reactor coils that never raise their voice. Our traveler is called Noah, an astronaut, yes, but also a listener. He is not entirely alone. The ship itself is a patient companion, its systems gentle and well-mannered. And a small patch on Noah's sleeve shows a stitched crescent and 3 stars, a quiet badge from home. He has spent many nights in this seat, strapped in lightly, watching Earth curl away into darkness, and then brightening like a candle being cupped. Noah is practiced in silence. He knows when to speak to the console, when to turn a dial, when to do nothing, and let the stillness do the work. Our traveler is called Noah, an astronaut, yes, but also a listener. Even so, some nights stretch longer than others. In the long, velvet hours, when thoughts gather like soft clouds, sleep can be shy. It stands just beyond reach, peeking around the corner of the mind. On nights like these, Noah opens the porthole shade and lets the moon be his company. He looks for the familiar seas on its face, the mare tranquillitatis, the sea of serenity, and lets their names wash over him like old lullabies. Serenity, tranquility, words that feel like warm hands smoothing a blanket. The moon shifts closer, climbing to the center of the window, and the ship turns a fraction with a tiny ch from a thruster. In that moment, something delicate arrives, barely a thread of sound, like light made into a whisper. It is not a voice, not exactly. It is a melody, simple and clean, floating from the direction of the moon, as if its dusty plains were a great bowl, catching and returning a tune the universe hums at bedtime. Noah feels it before he hears it, a gentle note in the ribs, a hush in the throat, the way one notices the smell of rain a second before the rain itself. He does not move. He does not want to frighten it away. He breathes the way we practiced, slow, easy, longer on the way out than on the way in. The melody seems to listen. It widens, not louder, but nearer, like someone drawing a chair to sit at the same table. Noah thinks of another table, wooden, with a tiny crack like a river running from edge to center, where a kettle used to hiss on winter nights, where a storybook lay open to painted skies and tiny sailors. He hears the murmur of a voice he once knew, telling the kind of stories that keep the dark friendly. Moons that sang, stars that drowsed, a whale that carried lanterns on its fins so lost sailors could find their way home. He had not remembered these for a long time, but the moon has a way of dusting old shelves, and space has a way of making room for what was stored and waiting. The melody curls through the cabin. Hush, like a lullaby that needs no words. Noah closes his eyes, though he can still see star prickles in the mind's dark. He pictures the moon as a gentle instrument, the kind you don't pluck, but simply place near your heart, and it plays itself. Each note is small and round, like a bead you could roll between your fingers. Each rests on the next, no rush, no strain, nothing to prove, nothing to chase. The ship assists without asking. A tiny dimmer fades the panel glow, and the seat cradles Noah's weight with a softer curve. The cabin air is a touch warmer at his hands, a whisper cooler at his temples. Sleep protocol is available, the ship might say, if it chose to speak. But tonight it says nothing, choosing instead to be a room that remembers how to be a nursery, a porch, a quiet field with crickets who never tire. We will breathe again on the tide of this soft song. Inhale as if pulling moonlight through the nose, clean and cool. Hold like a pebble resting in your palm. Exhale as if laying the pebble back where you found it. Shh. Let the chest be a lake. Let the breath be a boat that makes no wake, only rings that widen and fade. Noah leans into the harness without tension, face tipped toward the glass. The moon appears to lean back, round and patient. There is a tender feeling that this night is not accidental, that the lullaby has traveled a very long distance with slow, sure feet just to arrive now. Out here, time behaves like a cat. It comes when it pleases, curls at your ankles, and purrs. Noah smiles without showing teeth. He listens. Windows of memory flicker and settle. A paper mobile turning over a crib. The hush of summer fans. A book spine with frayed threads. A lamp's warm circle on a wooden floor where dust floats like galaxies. The melody finds these images and combs them smooth, like fingers through silk. If your jaw has found a new place to rest, let it. If your eyelids feel like little blankets, let them sink. You are in good company. A traveler who knows stillness. A ship that knows how to hold. A moon that knows how to sing. Out here, there is no wrong way to drift. Only the gentle of the engines and the softer shh of your breath. Good. We've arrived at the edge of the story's river. The shore is quiet, and the water is made of stars. The melody is our ferry. When you are ready, we will begin to cross, slowly, safely, with a lantern at the bow and the moon as our guide. For now, linger in this easy place. Feel how the chair becomes a cloud. Feel how your spine lengthens like a line drawn lightly in sand, then softened by the tide. We'll keep the lights low. We'll let the ship hum low. We'll let the moon do what moons do. Pour silver on the path and sing old things back into the heart until they become soft and near. When the next note arrives, we will follow it inward. The melody arrives like tide upon tide, never pushing, only arriving. Noah lets the seat cradle him while the ship keeps its gentle vigil. The panel lights have softened to embers. Their glow strokes the edges of his hands and turns the buckles into small sleeping moons. The viewport is a quiet theater. In it, the moon pours a path of pale silver across the dark, as if someone had unspooled a ribbon and let it float. The lullaby threads through this light, simple and sure, the way a finger might trace a circle on warm glass. He follows the music inward. It reminds him of stories from long ago, stories told in rooms with lamplight and soft blankets, stories where nothing chased and nothing was taken away. A voice would say, "Listen," and the room would listen, and the world would feel large enough to hold all the quiet. The tune brings that feeling back, not as a picture, but as a temperature. Warm at the sternum, lighter at the throat, cool across the brow where thought likes to bunch and worry. "Let's soften," the narrator inside him suggests, and Noah answers by loosening the small muscles behind his eyes, the thin rings around his mouth, the slope where neck meets shoulder. The ship seems to nod, the harness eases, the cushion remembers his shape and grows kinder. The melody changes slightly, not louder, just nearer, like moonlight stepping one pace closer on a balcony. Across the sunlit scars of the lunar surface, Noah's gaze lingers on the seas with their tender names: serenity, nectar, dreams, and he almost laughs, very quietly, at the way the universe has always left breadcrumbs. The lullaby rolls a simple pattern, 3 notes rising like a small staircase, 3 notes returning like a hand coming home. Hush. He tries the pattern with his breath. Inhale for 4, as if drawing in starlight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, like a lantern paused above still water. 1, 2. Exhale for 6, longer than before, letting any weight trickle out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each round makes the cabin feel wider, as if the walls slide an inch farther away to give rest a little extra room. The checklist tabs pinned to the side console become just paper. They stop pretending to be the future. The clock becomes only a circle with patient hands. The radio, asleep, holds its silence comfortably, like a cat with its tail over its nose. There is nothing to attend to except the easy math of air. When the ship turns a fraction, A line of lunar ridge catches light and gleams like a silver string. Noah imagines the moon herself is the instrument, plucked gently by the tide of space. The song he hears is not in words, but in shapes, a cradle, a slow river, a porch swing that never creaks. The lullaby shows him a path not across distance, but across softness. Step 1. Relax the forehead like loosening a knot. Step 2. Let the tongue rest against the roof of the mouth, where it was meant to nap. Step 3. Let the shoulders drift outward, as if floating in a pool that holds you with effortless hands. The main companion in this journey, besides the ship, is the moon's attention. It feels like a quiet friend who sits beside you without asking questions, who adjusts the blanket without fuss, who brings a glass of water you didn't know you wanted. Noah lets that companionship touch the parts of him that keep watch too closely. The sentinel in his chest, the one that listens for trouble, is invited to share the blanket and lie down. The lullaby seems to hum a sentence he cannot translate, but completely understands. You are carried. He drifts to the window again. Craters become shallow bowls of milk, almost luminescent. A soft mist, imagined, yes, but gently real to the resting mind, rolls over the Mar Imbrium, and the edges blur like watercolor in rain. The lullaby adds a tender harmony, a note that sits just beneath the first, and Noah feels loneliness tilt, not vanish, but tilt into a shape that looks like privacy rather than emptiness. Out here, being alone can be the same as being undisturbed. He thinks of the ordinary comforts that traveled with him, a strip of fabric sewn into the cuff that feels like home when he rubs it with his thumb. A corner of a photo tucked inside a manual, not to see, but to know. A single tea bag sealed in foil, just in case. He doesn't need to unseal it. The idea of it is enough. The lullaby tastes faintly like that tea would, honeyed, mild, steam rising in soft spirals. It curls around his senses and quietly closes drawers inside his mind, one by one. Click, click, click. Not locked, just resting. We will make one more gentle round of breath, easy and small. Inhale through the nose for 3, feather soft, barely a ripple. Hold for 1, a pause like the hush before a kiss on the brow. Exhale for 5, like a tide uncurling from the shore. If thoughts wander, let them. Thoughts like to stroll. The melody will find them and walk them back hand in hand without a word. Through the glass, the moon now feels close enough to share scents that do not exist. Powder, stone warmed by afternoon, a coolness like linen aired at dusk. Noah's eyelids lower and lift and lower again, not from effort, but as a courtesy to sleep coming up the steps. In the corner of the cabin, a tiny indicator blinks in a rhythm that matches the lullaby, slow, then slower, as if even machines enjoy being sung to. A story stirs, one of those old, gentle ones, of a traveler who carried a pocket full of quiet. When the traveler met storms, he opened the pocket, and the quiet would rise like warm breath on a window, and keep the world clear enough to walk. Noah realizes the pocket is here, and the quiet is this song, and the path is not under his boots, but under his breath. He feels the outline of sleep gathering like a cloak being draped across his shoulders from behind. The melody's last phrase for now is a downward slope, like stepping from a porch onto soft grass. It assures without insisting, cradles without closing. Noah lets the straps hold him as a lake holds a leaf. The moon lingers at the frame of the window, like a lamp left on in a hallway, so nobody has to fumble. Inside the cabin, air moves with the smallest possible sound. Hush, hush, hush. And the ship keeps time as faithful as a heartbeat. Nothing is required. Nothing is missing. The song is still there, even when it is quiet. If a thought rises, the lullaby will place a hand upon it until it settles. If a memory knocks, the lullaby will open the door and guide it to a soft chair by the window, where it can watch the stars. For now, the main work is not work at all. It is the art of not holding, the skill of sinking into something that wishes to catch you, and will. When you are ready, we will let the final part of the lullaby guide us down, a gentle descent, a soft landing among the stars, where breath becomes tide, and tide becomes sleep. The moon's melody slows to a cradle swing, and the ship follows its rhythm, easing the cabin toward a softer hush. Noah lets his head tilt a little more, just enough for gravity's memory to stroke the back of his neck. He has traveled far tonight, not across miles, but across tension, and there is only one small crossing left, from wakefulness to rest. The moon keeps time with a patient glow. The ship keeps time with a faithful a low purr threaded through the air like a warm scarf. Before we drift the final distance, let us loosen what remains. We'll take 3 quiet breaths, small as a moth's wing, each with a longer out-breath that carries the day away. Inhale as if sipping starlight through the nose, cool, clear. Hold like a pebble resting in the hand. Exhale long and slow, shh, letting the pebble fall back to its beach. Again, inhale, hold, exhale, shh. Last one, gentlest. Inhale, hold, exhale, hush. Last one, gentlest. Inhale, hold, exhale, hush. The harness becomes a kind of pair of arms, not restraining, only remembering. The cushion gives way beneath each small weight until every bone finds its little nest. Noah's eyelids, weighted with moonlight, drift half closed. Even the whisk of his lashes feels like silver reeds moving in a slow tide. The melody offers a path downward, not a staircase of numbers, but of feelings. 5 soft steps you can take without lifting a foot. First step, forehead. Let it smooth as if a warm palm were laid across it. The tiny creases flatten. The thoughts behind them spread like ink in water and grow pale. The moon hums a low note, a friendly and the skin cools by a whisper. Second step, eyes. Let them sink into the cushions of their sockets, as if each eye were a small round stone settling into a riverbed. The current flows past. The stones do not need to do anything. Even seeing can rest. Third step, jaw and tongue. Unlatch the teeth. Let the tongue lounge where it loves to linger, broad and unbothered. The melody strokes the corners of the mouth until they forget their work and remember softness. Hush. Fourth step, shoulders and chest. Imagine the ship is a lake, and you are its leaf. The shoulders widen without effort, floating a fraction away from the ribs. The breath becomes a slow canoe, drawing no wake, only widening rings that blend with the cabin's hush. Fifth step, belly, hips, legs, and feet. Let warmth go first to the belly, then drift downward like honey through a narrow jar. Hips settle, thighs unthread their knots, calves lengthen, feet melt into the footrests, like candles that have decided they are done for the day. None of this must be perfect. It is already enough. Outside, the moon wears her patient silence as a shawl. Inside, the ship dims one last degree. Not dark, only dusk, as if a kind hand has turned the lamp from bright to amber. The lullaby changes just a breath slower, and the note rests in the center of the room like a small lantern set on the floor. Noah's thoughts move around it the way moths circle a light, gentle, unhurried, then fewer and fewer as the lantern seems to warm the whole space, so there is nothing to circle, nothing to seek. We will borrow the melody's shape for a tiny glide, a descent measured not by altitude but by ease. Imagine the moon's light knitting a hammock from one side of the cabin to the other. Picture the threads, silver, soft, strong. Each breath adds a strand. Inhale, and a line appears. Exhale, and it knots itself. Inhale, strand. Exhale, knot. After a few breaths, the hammock is ready, and sleep lowers itself into it like a cat settling into a sun patch. The cat purrs. The ship answers. In Noah's memory, a kettle once sang softly, and a wooden spoon touched the side of a pot. Talk, talk, domestic constellations. Out here, the lullaby keeps this kitchen alive without sound or steam. The idea of a warm cup set within reach. The idea of a light left on for you. The idea of a page turned with care, and the story continuing even if your eyes are closed. He doesn't need to hold any of it. It holds him. In Noah's memory, a kettle once sang softly, and a wooden spoon touched the side of a pot. Talk, talk, domestic constellations. Out here, the lullaby keeps this kitchen alive without sound or steam. The idea of a warm cup set within reach. The idea of a light left on for you. The idea of a page turned with care, and the story continuing even if your eyes are closed. He doesn't need to hold any of it. It holds him. A gentle count arrives. Not sharp numbers, but soft markers, like stones along a moonlit path. Lamp, the melody whispers, and a lamp dims. Curtain, and a curtain draws. Door, and a door eases shut, leaving a comfortable crack for air. Window, and the window shows only what soothes. Pillow, and the pillow remembers the shape of a beloved head and becomes it. Each word is a step down into a quieter room. Noah's breath and the ship's hum join seamlessly, a duet so even it feels like one sound. The moon's face is no longer a place to look at, but a light behind the lids, pearly and kind. The body knows what to do. The heart takes the rhythm and trims it down to the smallest, steadiest beat. The mind folds its maps and sets them on the hall table. The sentinel in his chest curls in the blanket we offered earlier and finally sleeps. In this last small harbor, we do nothing but land. Touchdown is a long, almost not there moment that spreads like a drop of ink through water. The hammock sways once, then it doesn't. The story does not end. It simply drifts beyond hearing, like a boat rounding a soft bend in a river, lantern aglow. If a thought rises, it comes like a feather, and the next exhale carries it to a shelf where feathers belong. If a sound appears, it appears at the perfect distance, near enough to be friendly, far enough to leave you untouched. And so Noah sleeps, not falling, but floating, as if rest itself were a constellation, and he has become a small, shining part of it. The ship keeps watch, the way good rooms do, without fuss, without asking. The moon goes on humming, not to be heard, but to be known. The stars agree by doing what they have always done. They stay. If you are listening with him, let your breath become the tide against the shore of your ribs, out longer than in, soft as hush. Let your jaw be heavy, your eyes warm, your heart quiet and sure. The night knows your name, and it sings it gently, syllable by syllable, until even your name can rest. Sleep lands like snow, silent, complete, kind. The cabin, the hammock, the moon, the hum. Good night.